so welcome back to Michael Brue, Real Estate Unlocked. Today, I'm super excited about this. We got you Scott Smith. Not only is he one of my best friends and longtime friends, he's also one of my business partners at Luxe Lifestyles. And we actually got him to fly in here today to give you some of the good juice that he's going to give us. So with no further ado, Scott, I know you and I know everything about you, but the audience doesn't know who you are. So what are you willing to share and kind of introduce yourself? Give them a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of rare. I'm a lifelong native of Florida. I've sold real estate here for over 3 decades, and it's a family business for me. So I started out right through college, getting my bachelor's degree, majoring in real estate and finance, and I love what I do. And I love helping people find their dream home and their investment properties and make the right decisions with their biggest investment.
So you've basically been in real estate since you were 5. And did I hear you say, I think I knew that, but you have a bachelor's degree in real estate?
BBA in real estate and finance.
So could that be why I always have to contact you for the tough stuff? Is that why you have that deep level of knowledge?
Well, that was a long time ago, but I think my experience has built on that to really help me get the right answers.
I think so. And I definitely would like to say that Scott has not only been one of my secret weapons over the years. Anytime I get stumped on something, he is what I would consider part of my advisory board. So I would call him and say, hey, what do you think of this? And then he might say, ooh, no, ouch, no. Michael, don't do that. All right, so what I'd like to do is just kind of start off kind of normal and casual. We've both been in the business for a period of time, and we've seen different cycles of the real estate market kind of doing this. So what I would like to know is, what do you see different about the market of the now and the market of years gone by? What do you see as like maybe one or two of the biggest differences?
Okay, so we're on year 11 of a strong seller's market, and that is one of the longest in recent history, which can be a little concerning. Although I'm optimistic, especially for Florida, Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County, the values are expected to rise about 6% in the next year, and over the next 5 years could be 25%. Now, no one has a crystal ball, but that's the expectations due to many factors and our wonderful weather.
I think we have wonderful weather and maybe the makings of like a perfect storm hitting all points in our direction to give us what we would consider an anomaly market. I think at some points we just kind of have to laugh and then get serious, and then maybe even cry a little bit in this market because it's been kind of wild.
To expand on your question, it's been a really strange market. It's been a tough market for buyers because the asking price has been the starting price, and if you don't have a super clean offer, cash, short or no inspection period, it is tough to buy a property today.
I don't think we would have ever anticipated something like this.
In all my years, I've never seen anything like this. Even back in the boom in 2005, 2006, it was a tough market for buyers, but nothing like this.
I'd like to call it unique and special.
And a seller's dream.
So what do you think attributed to some of the reasons why we experienced a down market, in that 2006, 2008 kind of range, and what might be different now?
Okay, there's many different changes where I don't see us having a problem like we did back in 2006, 2007. Back then there was a perfect storm of predatory lending where people were getting 113, 115% financing, no income verification, very few cash offers. Most people put down 5% at most. And now there's been some changes in the lending guidelines, and it's much tougher to get a loan. And I'm seeing 40 to 50% of the buyers are cash. So even if there is a slowdown, which isn't expected, it's not going to be a crash like we had in the past.
Yeah, would you go as far to say that we've got more liquidity and equity in this type of market than we did in, say, a decade ago or so?
I would say this is the highest level of equity that Americans or Floridians have had in history.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. So, one of the things I was hoping you'd share, and I don't know how comfortable you'll feel with this, but I'm just gonna ask you. You seem to win a lot in this market, and a lot of people come to you, even on our own team, for like expert advice and how to get things done, and how to accomplish things. But you're winning a lot with buyers and actually securing them contracts in today's market. Is there anything you're willing to share for either buyers or consumers, or maybe even realtors that could pick up on tips to help them also, kind of win?
There's a combination of factors, but one is that I treat the other realtors as if they're just as important as my buyer or seller. And when you treat the other realtors like that, you get a reputation that you're someone that's good to work with. And I've had 2 sales in the last month with realtors that got me an advantage, possibly because they wanted to work with me. So that's one key. And then just having the knowledge of the contract to educate the buyer on what level of risk they're willing to take to make it the cleanest offer possible, so that a seller can't turn it down or will be happy to sign it.
Is there anything specific, like in a contract, that you might pay attention to that would be like strengthening points of an offer?
Yes. So I just sold a oceanfront condo yesterday, and the buyer has the cash, but he wanted to get financing. And a financed offer is a serious disadvantage in this market. So I discussed it with the buyer, who was an attorney. I wrote a cash offer with the right to obtain financing, and that got us the deal.
Nice. Well, that was pretty smart. Well, there you go. That's another reason why we look to people like Scott for this expert advice. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about where you might see this market is going? Now, I know you're not Nostradamus, but to me, you're pretty close. Where do you see for like future projections of, where we head in today's market, where we head into the future?
Well, so far in the last 4 or 5 months, it's been an absolute buyer frenzy where you'll show up for a showing and there'll be a line of people out the door waiting to get in. And I don't see that buyer frenzy continuing. It can't go on for too long. And there's some different factors. Part of it is the summer time coming that I think is going to cool the buyer frenzy. And right now, it seems like the asking price is the starting price on properties that are priced correctly. But there's some different factors that lead me to believe that things are going to cool a bit. I think there's going to be some more properties coming on the market, and people that are looking to do like 1031 exchanges. To be safe, I would do it this year. If you're going to downsize, I think now's the time to do it, because you max out the sale of your main property, and then you'll pay a little bit more for the smaller property, but you'll be ahead of the game.
So you'll be ahead of the game if you're reallocating the asset by transferring the equity from something where you're still heavily leveraged on a mortgage, where something you might be not leveraged at all or leveraged very little.
Well, I wasn't talking about financing leverage, but that's a good point. I was more talking about if your property that was $750,000 last year is now $900,000, and then you go and buy a $350,000 house for $400,000, you're going to be ahead of the game. You'll be
I see. That's a great way to look at it. Okay, well, fantastic. Scott, one of the things I would like to do is I would like to give our audience the ability to contact you direct. So what would you share as far as contact information, or what do you think would be a good thing to share here for the audience?
Well, I'd be happy to hear from anyone, whether they just want to say hi or ask advice. My phone number is 561-719-5133 or scott.smith@compass.com.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing with us a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so there you guys have it. Michael Brue, Real Estate Unlocked. We're going to be bringing you experts in the field in all different areas of expertise. We're going to be bringing you inspectors. We're going to be bringing you coaches. We're going to be bringing you mortgage professionals. And we're going to try to bring in a little bit of a variant of real estate professionals, maybe not just from one company, but also just trying to get perspective from agents from different companies. So stay tuned, because you never know who we're bringing on next. Welcome back to Michael Brue, Real Estate Unlocked. We're going to be bringing you guests from a wide variety of how it interacts and different people who interact differently and interface with the real estate community. Today is kind of special to me. I have a friend and longtime friend and somebody who has had major impact on my life, Gail Wisner. And with no further ado, I would like to introduce you to Gail Wisner. Gail, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Now, Gail, I know you from, you were formerly a litigation attorney in New York, and you've moved down here, and your passion has become coaching, which is something that I'm totally intrigued by, super excited about. But I'm so curious to know, like, how does someone transition from litigation to coaching? So what would you share with us for everybody at home that's kind of watching and tuning in?
Okay, great. Well, thanks for asking. Well, I think I went into litigation because as a kid, I couldn't stand people suffering. That was like the one thing that bothered me so much, is just watching people suffer. So I thought as a litigator, I could advocate for people and help them stand up for themselves when they couldn't on their own. And I really cared deeply about people. So I did that, except I didn't realize that I was going to be writing briefs all day in an office.
Oh boy.
And that even though I really did care about my clients, I was so limited in how much I can help them because I was dealing within the parameters of the legal system. And so I slowly discovered that as a coach, I can help them so much more. And that's why I transitioned.
Wow, that's super impactful, because I feel like you're taking something you're passionate about and that you're alive about. And by the way, when we communicate, most of the time, whether you're writing to me or whether you're talking to me, I can feel your passion. And I think it's something that's so absent of the business world and sometimes even the real estate world, that passion piece. And oftentimes people mistake like my passion for something else, but it's just like I'm super excited. So when I find somebody else that's super excited, super passionate about what they do, I'm just kind of, I don't know, I feel like a kid again. So, which I think is kind of cool, because I know one of the things that you specialize in is conscious parenting. So what I would like to do is maybe just kind of dive in. When you're coaching people and children and just basically anyone, what are some of the challenges that you hear, that they come to you with the most? Is there like a common thread or common theme?
Okay. Well, everybody comes basically with a cognitive bias, which we have to protect ourselves. We all have that. And those cognitive biases keep us safe, but they also hold us back from the success and the love that we deserve. And when clients come to me, they lie. They lie through their teeth. They tell me a story, and they're really lying to themselves. They're not just coming to lie to me, but they tell them that story to keep themselves safe. And my job, which my litigation experience helped me, is to poke holes in that story and make it fall apart and show them that that story is not real. It's not their reality.
Oh, wow.
And pull out from them, to draw out from them their hopes and their dreams and what they really want, and then create a roadmap and show them exactly how they can get there.
Wow. Super insightful. That is absolutely fact, Gail. Like, most people create like this outer exterior and this manifested shell of protection so that, harm can't get in. And I love how you laid that down. So, and tell me, are there anything that you would use as strategies and maybe tactics when you're trying to make someone self-discover where they are, in helping them unlock some strategies to kind of see, where they're at, so they can kind of get to where they're going?
Yeah, well, I come from the belief that everything in life is a mirror. It's a reflection. There's only one of us here. There's only us. And everything we see is just a reflection. So what I'll do is I will ask them sometimes about their childhood or something else outside of themselves so they can tell a story and they can see it much clearer in someone else. So when they talk about their parents, they can talk about all their fears and how critical they were and all of that. And then I help them see that they've adopted that critical voice, because usually the voice of our parents becomes our inner voice. And we don't see it in ourselves, but we can see it outside themselves. And then it's really just about calling them on their bullshit. You know, they come to me and they say, well, I don't have clarity on what I want. That's why I'm not moving forward. And I'm like, you don't need clarity. You need courage. Ooh. You know, yeah. So it's like, you know, or... you know, they come, I'm trying to be more productive. I'm trying to be more productive. I'm like, no, you need to be more present, not more productive.
That's
and
good.
Yeah, and it's like, and then they'll, you know, I don't have confidence. And I'm like, confidence is a result. It comes from having done something and then you're confident about it. It's not a prerequisite for you to have confidence, for you to take something. So I say, instead of confidence, let's focus on commitment. What are you committed to? Because that's what coaching is really about. It's getting somebody to commit to something and take one tiny action at a time and then just repeat. Sometimes people see the long-term vision, the thoughts they have about that vision scare the shit out of them, so they do nothing. And it's about breaking things down into granular parts and just say, can you focus on this one thing? So one of the things I do as a coach is I teach my clients how to get really, really, really present and focused about what's happening right now, not in the past, not in the future. And when we're present and in the moment, we can, it's so much easier to move forward.
You know, this is so neat for me to hear you say this, because this is where we connect. Like, you're real and raw and natural. And I think the world is screaming for people like you and me, because they need the real, raw, unscripted, uncut. Let's just get to the center of the matter. And by the way, I know we're friends, but I think that's why we connect. We connect on that level. But I know you're always coaching me, whether you mean to or you don't. Gail is always trying to work on me. And I think the number one thing that she has maybe become aware of is becoming more present. Because I'm powerful and I'm confident and I'm projective. But sometimes I'm moving so fast that I miss so much because of not being present. So I want you to know, whether you try to do it or not, or if it's natural, or maybe you are trying to do it. I'm always working on how to be more present in the conscious of the immediate, which I think is really cool on how we connect. So is in this wild world that we're in today, do you find that there are limiting beliefs that people bring with them into these coaching sessions, and you find maybe different ways on to help them individually kind of break through their limiting beliefs?
Absolutely. People, one thing I see all the time is what's called imposter syndrome. And people have a goal or a dream and they just feel like an imposter, like it can't be me, it's too much for me. And I tell them, good, you want to be an imposter all the time, because if you're not an imposter, you're not playing big enough. Ooh. And so the things that they use to hold themselves back are the very things they need to move forward. And we all have limiting beliefs because we're tribal. We all want to belong and we all want to connect. And most people are so focused on, what will people think about me? How will this be received? You know, is this going to jive well with this one and that one? And that energy is being dissipated and not being used constructively into just hyper focusing on what do you want without worrying about what everybody else is going to think. And I think that's one of the hardest things I see from people who come to me, is they're just so worried about what people are going to think, even though they don't even realize it. And when you can get over that hump, when you can focus on, I'm here to serve. And when I'm here to serve, I'm focused on how I can help. And I'm not busy worrying about my own little ego right now, because there's people who need my help. And so I help clients get into that mindset of, this is about service. This isn't about, protecting your feelings.
Well, I absolutely love this dialogue, because this dialogue is going to bring us to the next piece, which is who needs a coach? Like, who would benefit from a coach? Who would benefit the most? Does everybody need a coach? Like, what is your opinion, from somebody who I would refer to as the coach? What would be your response to that?
Right. Well, that's a great question, Michael. Thanks for asking. I think it's usually the people that to the outside world don't need a coach that really benefit the most from coaching. It's the people who are high performers on their own and high achievers, and they're super, super, super smart, and so they don't really feel like they need a coach. But there's always, each of us has blind spots. We just do. We all have blind spots, and a coach is, having the courage and the vulnerability to say to somebody, yeah, I'm high functioning, yeah, I can do great on my own, but show me how I can do it even better. And those are the people that benefit the most, because they show up, and so that's what I've seen.
Well, I think that's super important. People say, in order for this to work, you got to show up. I would like to reveal a little bit and share to our audience, Gail, one of the things that you helped me through, and I remember you helping me at a time where I absolutely needed help, and I don't even think I knew that I needed help, but I think you did, which was kind of cool. And one of the things you gave me and you kind of enlightened me was, I'm always coaching. I'm always helping. The little boy in me, which I think you spoke to, was, I want to fly around at night with a cape, with a really cool suit with like better colors than any other superhero, and help and save people and protect them. And, and you got me in touch with that piece of me, which has kind of really enlightened me that that's what I kind of do. I'm also always coaching. So I wanted to say thank you publicly.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. You are definitely a natural born coach. It is in you. And as you know, even though I'm a coach and I'm very self-aware, I also recently had just a little breakdown, too many things happening at once. And, I reached out to you and you coached me out of it. And I am not easy to coach out of, because I'm just not. And you did an amazing job in that, you listened to everything I was sharing, but you kept directing me to where I need to go. So it was like you listen and directing me to where I need to go. So I think you love coaching because you are a natural born coach. That's probably why you're so good in real estate too, because that is coaching clients. You're coaching your clients, your buyers, your sellers on what's best for them. I mean, it's in your DNA. I can feel it.
Well, thank you. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I wanted to say thank you for that. I guess the way that you helped me coach you was help me feel like I was the coach, and it was just the most natural, cool thing on how the whole thing happened, that I'm glad that we both benefited from the discussion, and we both moved forward at like what I would consider higher points, because you were really a catalyst to, catapult me into this next thing. So, Gail, if anybody wants to get wants to get a hold of you, they want to contact you direct, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, you can go to my website, gailwisner.com, GailWisner, or you can email me, Gail, Gail, at my website, gailwisner.com.
Well, let me just say, Gail Wisner, I call her Gail Wisner, because she is so wise and so profound. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I just want to say thank you again. Thanks for coming on. And that's it. This is a wrap for this week. And I wanted to say thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned and wait till you see what we got coming next.